Once you have familiarized yourself with the potential disaster threats in your area, it's time to begin formulating your plan. Your personal disaster plan, your PDP, needs to be developed around your immediate household, but it should also include nearby neighbors, family and friends, and at least one family member or acquaintance outside the state. A disaster will usually fall into two broad categories based on what the conditions will force you and your family to do: either shelter in place or evacuate. The key reason for developing a PDP is the fact that most disasters disrupt, disable, or overwhelm the communication infrastructure of an area. You may be unable to communicate with your family.
For this reason, you need to have pre-established plans for where you'll go or what you'll do in the event of an emergency.
There are three key areas to consider. First, establish where inside your home you would go in the event of a sudden threat, such as a tornado or other event that would require you to seek immediate shelter within your home. The best places within your home will generally be those areas with no outside walls or windows, such as a hallway, a stairway, or sometimes a basement location that is not beneath heavy appliances or furniture. The second place you need to establish is an outside location on or near your property. This place serves as a family rendezvous point when your house is threatened and allows you to quickly know all family members are safely out of the building. Your third rendezvous point should be a location outside your immediate neighborhood. This location serves as a meeting point when a disaster event prevents you from returning to your home or immediate area. Even with the best plans, in some situations, you or your family may be directed to evacuate to shelters in a location you are not familiar with. This is where your out-of-state contact is vital.
Many times a disaster will overwhelm location communications, but you can still communicate with relatives outside the area.
Train everyone to use your out-of-state contact as a central information hub for your family. During an average day, parents will be at work, children will be at school, and older family members may be at senior centers or other locations. Each location will have its own disaster policy. Get to know what these policies are and integrate them into your personal disaster plan. There are some other major aspects of your personal disaster plan you need to consider. Familiarize yourself with how to turn off electric, gas, and water supplies to your home, and make sure there is a delegated person to do this if you're instructed to evacuate your home. Your PDP needs to take into account people with non-typical functional needs: children, senior citizens, and companions. Use the 3W rule throughout your planning. Organize your PDP to establish who has responsibility for certain tasks, what those responsibilities are, and where those responsibilities are to be carried out.
Once you've worked out the plan, the only way to know if it works is to test it. You should test or drill your plan at least once a year.
That drill should include everything from a fire drill evacuation of your home to a mock evacuation. In a disaster, it's vital to know where and how to obtain timely information on what to do. As part of your disaster plan, make sure everyone knows the local broadcast outlets in your area responsible for disseminating information in the event of an emergency. These are the stations local emergency personnel will use to broadcast vital information on the nature of the threat and whether you should evacuate or shelter in place. The best disaster plan is only effective if you know a disaster event has occurred or is threatening your area. The problem with disseminating disaster information has grown increasingly difficult in today's multimedia household. Observe your family's behavior during a typical day or evening. You'll probably discover that despite all your communications technology, you may be totally off the local information grid and unable to receive vital information concerning a disaster. Remember, most satellite or internet-based radio and television services will not provide timely notification of a local emergency. For this reason, local emergency agencies have established a telephone callback system commonly referred to as Reverse 911. Make sure everyone in your family knows that your family could receive a Reverse 911 call and that careful attention must be paid to the information in that call. Now that you have a general personal disaster plan, it's time to get down to specifics of what you'll need and need to do in the event of a disaster.